Hi, my name is Lauren Beckwith, and I am a special day class teacher at San Bernardino City Unified School District at Barton Elementary, and I teach grades 3, 4, 5, and 6. For the majority of the time, my students are set up in a whole group arrangement. We have various seating arrangements depending on their need. We have different wiggle chairs, we have wiggle seats, we have different sizes of chairs that are needed. These desks move up and down in case they require standing. They can move up and they can stand. I also have a student that requires more time but would also like to participate, but she needs to get some of those wiggles out. So we have a trampoline right next to her desk so that she's able to still participate, but she doesn't have to lose out on that education. I also have my aids strategically placed in the classroom to my students that need additional assistance. So I am here at the smartboard, and my paraprofessionals are towards the back where I may not be able to reach those students directly. When we think about arranging the desks, we think about behavior and what works best for each student. We want them to be close enough to where we have those talks that we're able to sit and talk to our partner, but not too close that they're in our personal space, which is why we sit them in almost rows and that they're in individual desks. At the beginning of the day, I do a check-in with them. So the students will come down here, they will locate their names, and then they will tell me how they're feeling for the day. I can then gauge how the student is going to react in the morning. So I can tell if they come off the bus and they show me that they're angry and that they're frustrated. I might want to give them a little bit more time and give that student specifically what they need. Then I have them point to exactly what emotion they're feeling. So I don't have them just choose the category. They also tell me, because it's a difference if they're frustrated or if they're angry. That's a big difference in how I react to them. Then they choose to greet me, and they're able to get that one-on-one contact with me. That way I have 2 ways to check in, and then they're also finding their name from a field of 12. Over here, I have the computer center, and at the computer center, the students are working on putting in their personal identification. So they put in their first name, their last name, their phone number, and their address. Not only does this help them remember their names and their phone numbers and their address, but it also helps get them ready to write their resumes. Over here is my vocational board. On my vocational board, I have my classroom jobs for the week. It's very important for our students to have a job for the week because it gives them a sense of this is their classroom, this is their environment, it helps them take care of it. Every job is rotated once a week so that every student is able to do every job. Over here is my functional academics wall. It does change every week. Last week it was mathematics, skip counting. And so I have my visuals down below as well as our basics framework numbers here. Having a behavior management system is very vital to your classroom so that the students can see how they're performing for the day. They can also do a self-assessment. So if they come in from an activity, I am able to ask them, okay, you're here on Ready to Learn. How did you walk from your activity to the classroom? Can you tell me how you acted? Did you follow all the classroom rules? Did you follow all the hallway expectations set by the school? Then they are able to choose, okay, which direction am I moving in? And this gives them a visual to be able to see which direction they should be moving in. Over here is my, this is where we have our whole group activity. I have the document camera here as well as a smartboard that we utilize in the classroom. We do hook up to the computer device, and we do a lot of computer programs here for whole group that we display on the smartboard, and it is interactive, so the students are able to come up here and participate in different educational games and different programs. This is very important for our nonverbal students because even if they are unable to give us the answer, they can come up, they can actively participate, they can point, they can gesture, and then they can be part of the whole group. Over here is our rubric for our basics framework. It is in various locations around the classroom. This one is here for when we do our whole group activity. At the very end of our whole group, my paraprofessionals and myself will write a number of independents on their paper to show how independent they were doing that whole group activity. We want them to be able to be independent for themselves and not have to rely on anybody else for them. Over here is my math focus for the week. I have my learning intention as well as my success criteria. This is the same expectation that we have for our gen ed students, so it is expected that my students follow the same thing. I have visuals and vocabulary, which also coincide with our whole group lesson that we do before. When we're doing our worksheets, I am able to come back here and remind them of the activity that we did earlier in that day of what they need. So when we go over our vocabulary, if they have any questions about that, I could just simply come over here and point and say, ooh, what does lighter mean again? Or what does heavier mean again? Over here is my visual schedule. At the very beginning of the day, we come in and we go over our visual schedule. It is very important to have a visual schedule and for our students to know what they are doing. When my students come up, they will help me say we have completed the activity and they will say all done. It's very important for us to know where we're at and what is expected of them. Another activity that we do and is a job is our calendar. So a student comes up here and helps the whole class come up with our days. We write it in our numbers. We do yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And the thing is interactive so that you're able to Velcro it and put it on here. We also practice our writing skills. Over here is our calming center. I have various tools to help a student calm down and kind of relax. This is used if a student requests a break or if we could just see that the student is in need of a break. So we have different tactile things, and I have taught my students at the very beginning of the year what this looked like and how to use it properly. Over here is their starting centers. So when it is time for centers, I will call each group up by their color. They will come over, they will locate their icon, they will take their icon over to the desk, over to their table, and they will place their icon on the board. They will complete that activity. After 20 minutes, the timer will go off and we will say switch. They will flip their board over, they will grab the next icon, and then they will go to their next activity. When my students earn all of their free time, they will come over here and they will choose from our choice board on what activity they would like to participate in. They could do it with a friend or they could do it independently. Choice is so important to our students, especially when it comes to recreation and leisure. We want to make sure that they're doing something appropriate with their free time and that it gets them involved with other students. On my walls over here is the rest of my domains. I have my recreation and leisure wall, I have my community wall, and then I have my domestics wall. Over here is where some of my center materials are placed. Depending on what center it is, I have a language arts center, I have an IEP center, and then I also have the computer center. So this is utilized for our writing center, and this is the IEP book. So each book is unique to every individual and based directly off their IEP goals. Classroom layout is very important for an SDC classroom. If you have too many things on the wall, it can be distracting for some of our students. If you have too little, then it may not be engaging enough for our students. So it's very vital that you have the right amount of things on your walls, as well as have the right seating arrangements and desks arrangements.